21st. I have come home, finally, for the last time. It's impossible to describe the homesickness I felt being away. Now I am home to stay. I am a whole person only when I am home. I am so incredibly thankful that this is where I was born, raised, and will now be living my life. Give me Springvale in the winter, spring, summer, and fall. Winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. It's cold. This morning, I heard a noise coming from the kitchen stove. Somehow, a house sparrow managed to fall down the chimney and get into the firebox around the oven. He was still fine when I got him out. Sooty, but full of life. December 31st. I know that my health is slowly deteriorating and that time isn't on my side. January 6th. Is it ever wild out there today? The temperature is minus 20 Celsius with a wind chill factor of minus 41. The wind is something fierce. All of the island schools are shut down, and I'm thankful that I can stay home and keep the house warm. One morning this week, we were royally entertained by a red fox. He made repeated visits to the meet I put out for the ravens Wednesday evening and continued to show himself through the day. I've taken lots of pictures and hope that at least some of them turn out. January 14th. A cold snap. It's a bitterly cold day. I dread to think how this has affected the garden. The view from here is so indescribably beautiful through the blowing snow that it almost brings tears to my eyes. Last Sunday, there were 11 species at the various feeders. Among them were a flock of 20 to 25 juncos, one American tree sparrow, my first, probably 24 evening grosbeaks daily, black-capped chickadees, blue jays, one song sparrow, starlings, house sparrows, crows, 2 downy woodpeckers, male and female, and 1 male hairy woodpecker. Not bad. February 11th. One of the large white spruce by the woodshed crashed down last night in the storm. It is rather sad, I feel. Not that it was anything of beauty, but it had withstood fire, carpenter ants, and fence wire cutting through the bark. But finally, it was this storm with its powerful winds that took it down. The passing of time as we measure it intrigues me. I can almost as easily envision myself at 70 years of age looking back over this life as I can recall yesterday or 2 weeks ago. It is midwinter already, and soon it will be spring, then summer, fall, and back to winter. The years seem to whirl past, almost like the snow whirling over the fields that will soon be yellow with dandelions and pink with lupins. February 26th. I heard some chickadees giving their spring call this morning. It was lovely to hear it again. There's a hoarfrost clinging to every stick, every shingle on the barn roof, every crabapple still hanging from the tree. It is simply a beautiful morning. This morning, the house sparrows were making a ruckus in the little woods. It's such a wonderful sign of early spring. All that squabbling and chattering with the little males all puffed up and agitated. I heard the owl hooting at dusk from the same woods on the hill where I've heard him hoot each spring since I've come here. It is much like welcoming old friends again when they've been away for a while. March 17th. A beautiful, mild day. It was fascinating to watch the melt streams flowing from higher ground down to the streams and valleys. I tried to envision how the land looked when it was still covered in old forest. March 21st. The first day of spring, and judging from the mild temperature, it's right on time. March 26th. First robin of the year this morning. Melting continues at a good rate. There are lots of flies about now and other small insects. April 1st. March went out like a lamb yesterday. This morning a flock of geese went over. It just lifts my spirit to watch them. It's not over yet. Mud season, that is. It's been mild and rainy all week, so the lane is impassable once again. I haven't been feeling too well much of the week, and I'm hoping that it isn't anything serious. April 7th. This morning, I received a call from a woman in Charlottetown who had 3 baby pigeons that some children found in a cardboard box left with the garbage. Well, I've always had a soft spot for pigeons, so I said I'd come in and pick them up. They are adorable. I have them all fed now, and they're nestled on a towel over a hot water bottle. Their names are Diddy, Phyllis, and Fitzroy. The little pigeons are just fine. I kept pigeons as a boy and have raised many orphans by hand. I had my own menagerie of animals in a little barn and in cages. I always had a flock of pigeons, rabbits, pheasants, crows. I even had a skunk. May 10th. The first dandelions are open. The farmers are busy in their fields, and the freshly plowed red island soil looks wonderful. May 11th. We went down to Cape Tryon and lay on our stomachs and watched the cormorants on the cliff. The sun dappled off the water, and it was a scene we can never forget. May 20th. Traveled up east today. The dunes at Basin Head are heath dunes and are incredibly beautiful. more so than any garden I've seen. There is so much that needs attention. My main priority is to move the young trees out of the nursery to their final growing location. There is a certain sense of urgency now, as something tells me that this will be my last chance. May 24th. Finally, the rain we need. It's been raining steadily since early this morning. Everything is bursting to life in the garden. May 21st. First ruby-throated hummingbird of the year. June 2nd. At noon, I picked up some more seedling Rosa rubrifolia from beneath the mature shrubs at Mom and Dad's to put in the nursery bed. June 9th. The whole garden seems to rumble with the energy of growing plants. June 19th. The lupins are flowering well and will soon be at their peak. This time of year holds such significance for me. June 26th. The lupins are nothing short of incredible this year. The Hungarian lilac hedge has never been more beautiful, and I'm very pleased with it. In some ways, it seems unlikely that those scrawny little sticks planted only 5 years ago could turn into such a feature, but I had faith. How true that is for the whole garden. There were many butterflies in the garden today, and I recognized at least 4 species. There were tiger swallowtails, cabbage whites, sulfurs, and a black swallowtail. Larry brought out 8 hives of honeybees that he'll keep here for the summer. They've settled in quickly, and there are clouds of them at the hive entrances. They should be good for pollinating the flowers in the garden. June 29th. The farmers are cutting hay now, and it's just a wonderful day to be alive. I feel ecstatically happy about being part of such a magnificent life. My death will be as much a part of it as my birth. July 2nd. I drove by John's place. There is a for sale sign up, and the place seems empty and neglected. I wandered about and saw what happens when a garden is left untended for even a short time. Gardens are truly transient. For the moment that our control is released, nature quickly goes about rearranging it to form more stable and compatible communities. Along with so much else that it gives, the garden teaches you to enjoy the moment. For the past 2 weeks, the field flowers across the island have been more stunning than I've ever seen. Lupins, daisies, vetch, orange and yellow hawkweeds, buttercups, and more. Some daisy fields really take your breath away. My fields are really showing more wildflowers each year. The purple vetch is providing a wonderful, billowing sheet of blue everywhere. The fledged barn swallows were outside flying around, but by evening they were all back inside, crowded in the nest. The garden is full of sparrows of various species, and there's been a local invasion of bobolinks, nearly all in the yellowish garb now that their breeding season is over. They're quite comical to watch. Every one radiates excitement, food is plentiful, and fairly soon they will be off on the big migration to Argentina. July 30th. There's very little work at this time of year, aside from grass cutting. It's the time of year to sit back and enjoy the garden. And having planted the garden with views from inside the house in mind, I could enjoy it just as much from the cooler, bug-free haven around the kitchen table. August 11th. Woke up to a mystical, foggy morning with the sun trying to burn through. Absolutely gorgeous. Everywhere there are hummingbirds, butterflies, and those big dragonflies that patrol corners of the garden at this time of year. My deep connection with nature and the natural world gives me a wonderful strength, and I believe insight into how I fit into the grand scheme. Ever since I was a small child, my father instilled the wonder of nature in me that I have never lost. I'm afraid that most people never experience this, and that it will eventually prove to be the end of us and the world as we know it. But one way or another, nature will prevail. August 23rd. Overcast with sunny periods, very cool. A feel of autumn is in the air. For the past several days, most of the barn swallows have disappeared. September 3rd. A large flock, hundreds of grackles, passed through the property early this morning. Many stopped to feed in the grain field. In early afternoon, there were large numbers of robins around. September 9th. Rain, rain, rain. Finally, a real rainfall again. It's been raining steadily all day, and I think that this time it may do some good. It's so late in the season, but most of the leaves are still green, so hopefully they'll be able to pull enough water up into the plants to help them be in better shape for winter dormancy. I think that I've picked an apple from the same tree Lucy Maud Montgomery did. Her McNeil relatives are keeping the site up beautifully. Yesterday, I began reading Montgomery's second volume of selected journals. Knowing what she endured gives me the same strength to go on, as I know that she is one of my kindred spirits. How interesting it would be to have her as a friend and confidant. Someone like her could really sympathize and understand the winding road of fate. September 26th. I have a sense of detachment from the garden of late. However, when I wander along the paths, I feel a sense of wonder when I see my trees and how big they've grown. The course of anyone's life is only an eye blink. October 6th, a gorgeous fall day. Off to Cable Head, Greenwich, to survey the natural regeneration of trees and shrubs. Much to my surprise, I found evidence of pileated woodpeckers right in the woods where the developers want to put the golf course. The fall colors are peaking. The sun has just come through the clouds, and I'm anxious to be outside. I'll walk down the lane and check the mail after I have my lunch. This weekend was true Indian summer, warm and balmy like summer, but with all the wonderful fall colors, sights, and sounds. Today will be like that too. October 22nd. Today Sue and I went fossil collecting at Gallus Point and had an interesting time. We found quite a few fossils on the shore and saw a herd of seals. The high winds on the weekend have taken down most of the leaves and color, and it feels like real fall as the geese fly overhead and the birds flock to the feeders. My neighbor began plowing his field across the lane, and the ring-billed gulls are following his tractor like a cloud. This evening I took some time to watch television. To my good fortune, David Suzuki was on with a program which interpreted all life, and indeed all of the galaxy, with a common beginning. It explained how all creatures and living things share a common ancestry, and not that long ago, in the greater sense. This has been a very satisfying experience for me. For some time now, I've been feeling and thinking that there's a very real, very deep sense of wonder I am experiencing with the world, with nature, that I don't think that many people share. November 13th. It's a winter landscape now, lots of snow down. November 30th. Yesterday I returned home after 2 weeks in the hospital. I'm being treated for a virus in my eyes that can cause blindness. The vision in my left eye has been affected, not lost, and I don't believe it's reversible. December 22nd, Sunday. This may be the last entry I will be able to write in my journals. Today may be the last day I have vision enough to see. I feel quite confused because I must learn how to cope with this and realize that I won't see all the beautiful things around me. My birds and gardens will be seen only in my memory and in my mind's eye. Faces of my loved ones, the same. Somehow I'll manage. It will be another experience to learn from. Already I can imagine ways to ensure that I still enjoy life. I'll smell the fragrance of the flowers and hear the birds sing. I can fill in the details with my imagination. I know this garden like the back of my hand.